And now, Rowan Radio 89.7 WGLS FM and RowanRadio.com present Delaware Blue Coats basketball. Today's game is made possible in part by
Christiana Care, Land Rover Wilmington, and Nemours Sports Medicine.
Now, let's go courtside for play-by-play coverage of Delaware Blue Coats basketball.
Welcome, everybody, to the semifinals of the NBA G League playoffs from the G League bubble in Orlando, Florida. Tonight, the number 4 seed Delaware Blue Coats will face off against the best team in the NBA G League record-wise this season, the number 1 seeded Raptors 905. I'm Aaron Hook alongside my broadcast partner Jason Joseph, and Jason, certainly going to be an interesting one here tonight. A lot of high stakes, two teams that are really good offensively. Two teams that are coming off big wins, obviously, in the first round of the playoffs. The Raptors, 905, beating the G League tonight, 127-102 yesterday, the 8th seed. And then the Blue Coats beating the 5-seeded Austin Spurs, 124-103. So two teams coming off big wins in the first round and, a shot at the title right here.
Yeah.
Going to the title, I should say.
Yeah, and, you take a look at how hot the Raptors 905 squad has been. I mean, it seems like they've been winning pretty much every game this season because they've just been staying red hot. So, they have won 8 straight in a row. So the way that they play basketball on both ends of the floor is something that you really don't want to take advantage of, Aaron. Yeah,
and earlier on in the season when these two teams squared off, it wasn't pretty for the Blue Coats. The Raptors 905 beating them 138-107. Jason, it's just all about not having a repeat of that performance here. If you're Delaware and, coming off a win in your first ever playoff game, in franchise history, they got to be feeling pretty good.
Yeah, they do. And the one thing that the Blue Coats certainly cannot repeat is getting out-rebounded, because that was the biggest story of the last game. Alize Johnson, somebody who got at least 20 points and also 22 rebounds in that one as well. And it just goes back to trying to box out and making sure that you're just going up for the ball and that you're staying with the plays, because that's what also really matters too. You can't take any sort of time off.
Look at the starting lineups for either side. Starting with the Raptors 905, the number 1 seed, once again, as tip-off is underway, and it'll go the way of the Raptors 905. Ellenson winning the tip and controlled up top by the Raptors 905. Starting lineup for the Raptors 905, Morgan, Mooney, Johnson, Ellenson, and Stauskas. And right away, foul going to be called underneath. Ellenson scoring the basket there, and it'll count, so he'll go to the line and try to complete a three-point play. Ellenson, the big man out of Marquette, averaging 21 and 8. And on the other side, the starting 5 for Delaware, Isaiah Joe, who had a huge performance last night, 28 points, knocked down 7 3-pointers, and Ellenson completes the three-point play to get the Raptors 905 a 3-0 lead here, 11:45 to go in the first. Reed, Tucker, Robinson, and Julian Washburn round out the starting 5 for Delaware here on their first possession. Offensively working left to right across the timeline are the Blue Coats. Washburn with it here on the near elbow. Handoff Isaiah Joe. Joe working in the lane. Kick to the right corner. Washburn head fake. Gets Johnson to bite. Pulls up for 3. No good. And pulled in by Alize Johnson, who averages 13.3 rebounds per game, Jason. He is just a monster on the glass. Someone that the Blue Coats are going to have to contain here if they want to move on to the NBA G League title.
Yeah, Alize Johnson, definitely somebody who can definitely post you up on the offensive side. And as he turns the ball over there, he can also play defense too.
Johnson was working out of the post, and he threw it away, and off the steal, Justin Robinson going coast to coast and laying it up and in with the left hand. And, Jason, that's something Justin Robinson does extremely well, using that aggressiveness in transition to finish, and he does it right there. Gets the Blue Coats on the board. It's 3-2 Raptors 905, 10:48 to go here in the first quarter.
Yeah, Justin Robinson, third on this team in steals, having a total of 22 steals on the season. He's been very well known for his defense, and his defense this season has been sensational.
Good defense by Isaiah Joe there against the taller Ellenson out of the far corner. Forced a long 3. Offensive rebound by Alize Johnson. He's banging against Paul Reed down low on the far block. Now to Mooney. Mooney right back to Johnson underneath as the shot clock expires. Goes reverse off glass. Nice move there from Alize Johnson, who, along with those 13 rebounds tonight, Jason, he can score as well. 16 points a night. Shoots 57% from the floor.
Yeah, Alize Johnson, he's somebody who can, you definitely don't want to leave him wide open in the post, Aaron, because he can definitely bite at you.
Reed trying for the tie off the 3, no good. Fight for the rebound It'll be last touch against Delaware. They trail 2-5. 3-point advantage for the Raptors, 9:05, a couple minutes into this one.
And something that the Bluecoats really have to look out for is the shooters for the Raptors 905 squad. You have Nick Stauskas, you have Matt Mooney. Matt Mooney was somebody who shot really well in the last game against the Bluecoats, and it seemed like he was hitting every three, Aaron. So hopefully the Bluecoats can try to do whatever they can to make sure that he's off of his game.
Mooney tries a fall-away jumper from 15 feet, no good. Rebound pulled in by Isaiah Joe. The winner of this one will face the Lakeland Magic, who just a moment ago defeated the Santa Cruz Warriors in the first semifinal here of the G League playoffs, as Rajon Tucker drives baseline and finishes with the right hand. Nice move there by Tucker to get it back to a 1-point game. It's 5-4 Raptors 905. But Jason, the Lakeland Magic, red hot, and they won again. They defeated Santa Cruz 108-96. So winner of this one will get a shot at them in the G League championship game on Thursday. Here's a three by Mooney off the back of the rim, no good. Pulled in by Robinson. Robinson, other end, trying to pull up transition three, no good. And Matt Mooney pulls in the rebound for the Raptors 905.
I love the confidence by Justin Robinson. Even though he didn't make the three-pointer, that's something that he really has to do. He has to make sure that he's just taking the shots and he's firing away.
Matt Morden skips through the lane and finishes with the right hand. Morden, the second-year man out of Cornell. Now defending against Justin Robinson, drives inside. Good defense there by Ellenson. Hands were straight up. Got a piece of that shot by Robinson. Bluecoats able to retain possession now. Reed worked in here on the near block against Ellenson. 5 to shoot. Reed, step back, mid-range jumper, no good off the rim. Pulled in by Elise Johnson, and he comes the other way, right to left for the Raptors 905, who leads 7-4 with now 8:22 to go here in the opening quarter. Morton, a deep three, no good, and Isaiah Joe pulls down the rebound. Joe working in transition against Johnson the other way, on the far block, hit to the corner. Robinson, skip pass up top to Washburn. One more now to the right wing for Rajon Tucker, and he pulls it out. Tucker splits the defenders, gets to the rim, off the glass, couldn't finish it, rolled off the rim. An easy look there for Rajon Tucker, and he missed it. He's upset with himself, and now a whistle. We'll see what the call is. But with 8 minutes on the dot, the clock will stop. The Raptors 905 up 3, 7-4 over the Bluecoats.
Rajon Tucker, who was 8th in the NBA G League in points per game, thought that he definitely should have had that one as he was wide open. He made a really nice move to get to the rim, but he just couldn't finish it, Aaron. And that's something that the Bluecoats have to make sure that they're able to do, just finish the easy bucket.
Possession stays with Delaware, and now a pass from Julian Washburn, too hot to handle for Paul Reed. It goes off his hands, and it'll be a backcourt violation, so it'll go the other way. Raptors 905 will control with 7:50 to go here in the opening quarter.
Got to make sure that you just try to take care of the basketball as much as you can and not make careless turnovers like that one, because the Raptors 905 team can definitely make you pay for that.
Morden controlling up top against the taller Washburn. Morden going to his right, flips it up off the glass with the right hand, no good. Paul Reed has the rebound for Delaware.
Looked like that was blocked maybe by Julian Washburn. Great defense by him.
Reed into the corner. Isaiah Joe on a three, got it. And Jason, that was the story of last night. Isaiah Joe got hot from three early on, and he's continued to shoot well from behind the arc, picking up from where he left off. 7 of 15 last night from downtown, 28 points for Isaiah Joe. He hits one here, and then on the other end, it's the answer out of the far corner from the Raptors 905. That's Stauskas hitting the three, and it's 10-7 Raptors 905 now. 7:04 to go here in the first.
Nick Stauskas, the former 76er, just making his three-point shot there. You know, don't like to see that if you're a Sixer fan, but you know what? You just have to live with it.
Robinson looking to do a cross-court with it to the corner. Pass was deflected out of bounds. Last touch on Morden. So it will stay with the Bluecoats. And it looks like now timeout on the floor. Coach Connor Johnson wants to talk things over. His Bluecoats team down by 3. It's 10-7 Raptors 905 here early on in the first. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Delaware Bluecoats basketball, powered by the Bluecoats Broadcast Academy on Rowan Radio and RowanRadio.com. Bottom of the fourth. Middle of the Blue Rock order due up here. Millis, Pineda, Mendoza, 4, 5, and 6 will face Griffin McLarty, who's out for his 4th inning of work. Danny, he has been sensational tonight, rivaling Evan Lee. So the Aberdeen starter, who we talked about ever since being called up here to high A, owns an ERA under 2 and has continued to improve upon that tonight. 3 spectacular innings and getting set for the bottom of the fourth, here It'll be a tough out to face him, though. First man to greet him will be Drew Millis.
Drew Millis needs to get something going here for this Blue Rocks lineup. Only 2 hits so far on the night. And if anyone's going to kind of start the inning off, or you want anyone really leading off the inning or the game, which kind of brings up a good point, Millis should see some more opportunities in the top part of the lineup, even the leadoff spot. But that being said, if he can poke a single right past second base, we know he's so prone to do, that would be perfect.
1-0 to Millis. That pitch misses alone in the dirt. Nice job behind the plate by Audrin to get a glove on at that time. So it's 2-0 on Millis, who worked a walk his first time. A 2-out walk at that. Back in the bottom of the first. Here's the 2-0. Fastball catches the outside corner. 2-1, 88 that time from McLarty. Mendoza digs back in. Head in the count 2-1. And here is the 2-1 offering now from McLarty. Went to the breaking ball. Shot first base side, but just foul. Just to the right of the bag. Right down that first base line. If it stayed fair, Bowens would have had an easy jog over to first, but instead, count evens up at 2-2.
Millis's average so far in the year dropping below the 300 mark. And I say that as it's a concern, but he was batting around 340 at one point. Obviously a bit inflated due to the small sample size, but just such a consistent hitter on the year.
2-2, ripped on the ground over towards set to take it in by Hall, and he fires over to first in time to get Mendoza for the first out here in the bottom of the fourth.
And nearly got the single past second base from that time, just pulled it a bit to the left side of the field, or excuse me, the right side of the field, and right into Adam Hall's glove. If he kind of gets a little bit more of that, inner part of the plate or inner part of the bat, it's probably a single.
So now it's Israel Pineda with one away. Pineda struck out looking to end that bottom of the first his last time. What's it, a fastball for a strike here, so he's behind 0-1. Was caught looking on a 90-mile-an-hour fastball that was right over the heart of the plate, was looking for something else, and just couldn't get the bat off his shoulder that time. He chops this one foul, first base side over toward the Blue Rock dugout. So he's quickly behind 0-2. Pineda average sits at 195. Guy who, although he has been productive, Danny, as a whole, he just hasn't been able to find a lot of consistency in the middle of this Blue Rock order. Of course, spent a lot of time on the IL before returning recently. This one he skies out towards right, and it'll slice just foul, but the right fielder out there, Lamar Sparks, made a diving stab at it, and give him maybe another second of hang time there, and he's got an incredible diving catch in foul territory.
Diving attempt about 3 or 4 feet away from the ball. Valiant attempt, regardless.
And then a fan down the right field line jogs over to get the souvenir, and Sparks flips it up to him. Says, hey, man, I couldn't get it. You can.
Yeah. Share the wealth.
It'll be an 0-2 now coming to Pineda, who now digs back in. Defense playing straight up. No shift this time on the big righty. Here's the 0-2. And there's a fastball outside corner, called strike 3. Pineda, second time tonight, he's been frozen on a fastball. Another really good pitch that time from McLarty, just hitting his spots all night long. Pitch up, yet another strikeout. It's number 6 for McLarty, and with 2 away in the bottom of the fourth, it'll bring in Drew Mendoza. And mentioned we are in the bottom of the fourth. Tonight's bottom of the fourth inning is presented by Wilmington Brewworks, I should say. First pitch to Mendoza. Checked his swing. Did he go around? No, he did not. Clay Williams, the bases umpire tonight, did not raise his fist, so Mendoza able to hold up there and get ahead 1-0. Mendoza strikeout victim his last time back in the top of the second. Struck out swinging. Swings through a breaking ball that time from McLarty. Just a little bit out in front of it that time, so the count evens up 1 ball and 1 strike. Here with 2 away. Bottom of the fourth inning. Nothing ball game. First game of a 6-game set between the Ironbirds and the Blue Rocks. Final homestand of the year for the Blue Crew here at Frawley. Final home series, so getting started off on the right foot, Danny, here tonight. It's something they'd really like to do, but McLarty certainly making that one a tough task.
Really the bump in the road, if they could just manufacture some hits, but they're not even able to do that quite yet.
2-1, shot out towards right. Going back to Sparks, he looks up, and that ball's gone. Drew Mendoza showing the pop. He crushes one out towards right. It gets over the bullpen out in right field. Mendoza with his 5th of the year, and the Blue Rocks are on the board. It's 1-0 Wilmington here in the bottom of the 4th.
That's such a great sight. I mean, as soon as I say they can't manufacture hits, boom, right over the right field wall, even surpassing the bullpen. That's how deep that ball was hit. And you see Mr. Celery come out and hype this crowd up. It's always, man, did I miss that little guy. Mr. Celery is always terrific to see outside that left field gate.
Here's Connell now. And he did the breaking ball for a strike. Always a good sight when Mr. Celery pops out, right?
I mean,
always.
That's what makes Mr. Celery Mr. Celery, because you don't see him very often, so when you do, you must cherish it.
You got to relish it. Here's the 0-1 at Connell. Swung on and missed. So it's the 3rd hit of the night for the Blue Rocks, and they are on the board first with the solo shot by Mendoza. And no doubt about that one as well. Sparks just kind of looked bad, took a few steps back to the track, but he just watched that one fly over his head. The 0-2 to Connell's outside 1-2. Mendoza, we were talking about, a guy who gets on base at a very high clip, Danny. He sits at 360 right now, but was only starting 332. Only his 5th homer of the year, but that one, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, he got absolutely every piece of that one. He must have barreled that one up the best he could, because you could just hear from the sound. Before that ball even got put into orbit, you could hear from the sound that was at least going to be off the wall, but grateful is Drew Mendoza that it got way over the wall, and he's providing that pop that we kind of have seen from time to time this year, but he hasn't really been able to tap into it fully.
1-2 to Connell is upstairs and off the plate away. 2-2. So McLarty now needing to bounce back. This is kind of the time, Danny, where if you can kind of maybe get a 2-out rally going, you can really shake McLarty's confidence. He was rolling up to that point before the Mendoza homer. Here's the 2-2, and it's foul back. So Connell's staying alive with 2 strikes. And even if you put together a lengthy at-bat here, right, it's still, might be enough to kind of get to McLarty and say, hey, maybe you're losing it a little bit, and then he kind of gets into his own head.
Yeah, and McLarty, the success he's had up here definitely is something to point out, and kind of it's a great talking point, but you have to figure how long that's going to last in this higher level before he kind of fades out. And for his own talent's sake and for his own career, I hope it doesn't fade out for him, but it's almost like the writing on the wall or the elephant in the room. They know how he did at the lower levels.
Yeah, we talked about back in 2019 in low A, had a good year, but then, like you mentioned, in single A this year, Delmarva, he, again, struggled. But, sometimes when a guy struggles and you still have faith in him, maybe it's just worth to call him up. And the Orioles certainly seen the results here. It'll be another 2-2 to Connell. Here it is. It's a breaking ball that misses low in the dirt for ball 3. Good take by Connell there on 2-2 to work the count full here with 2 away. In the bottom of the 4th, Blue Rocks ahead 1-0. Got that 1 run just moments ago. A solo shot with 2 away by Drew Mendoza, his 5th of the year. So now here's the full count offering, and Connell shoots that one fouled on the first base side out of play. Gets over the screen up onto the concourse level. So good at bat here, Danny. 2 strikes. Connell doing a great job staying alive again and just making McLarty work to get this final out.
Always a tough at bat when that young Connell kid steps into the box. No matter what pitcher he's facing, he's going to make you earn it. Let's see if he'll make McLarty earn it here.
Another 3-2. This one's foul back. It's coming over towards us here in the booth. Where did that drop?
I don't know. I was looking to get a hand on it.
I was looking for it. Well, you were telling me you were doing a game, a couple weeks ago, and a ball came back up in here. You couldn't get a grab on it.
Me and Sir Gary Erdely in the booth, and that was right before the game was actually canceled, and they resumed it after a huge dark cloud. But like I said, a huge dark cloud comes over us. My family was in the stadium. They were taking pictures, and then all of a sudden the foul ball comes. I had no ideas. I'm still trying to do a job here, and so much stuff in my mind. And it was within reach, out of reach for Sir Erdely. But if I would have stuck my hand out, it would have hurt, but I would have had it.
3-2 is a slice foul down the third baseline. So Connell continuing to grind here with 2 strikes. There'll be another full count offering coming now. McLarty to Connell. McLarty kicks and deals. This one is hit in the air, right field. This one will get over the screen, out of play.
And just touching on your point about, it's kind of worth calling a guy like McLarty up at this point in the season, especially if you struggle at the lower levels. It most certainly is. I mean, this guy was an 8th-round pick just back in 2019, had that success in his first year of professional ball here in the Baltimore Orioles organization. Not listed as a top 30 prospect within the organization. However, you could almost argue that he should have been, or he quite possibly was before this season began, with how well he did with the Ironbirds back in 2019.
Another 3-2 to Connell. This one, he shoots through the left side, base hit. What an at-bat from Justin Connell. Saw 13 pitches, and on the 13th pitch, he rips one between third and short in a left field for a base hit. Danny, just as good as an at-bat as you can get right there.
And this guy is the heart and soul, the heart and hustle of this team. You would have thought he just pimped a no-doubt home run to walk it off. He runs down the first baseline, looks the Blue Rocks dugout, screams at him, hypes him up, saying, let's go. Let's get this 2-out rally going, as Omar Marihildo steps into the box to kind of try and continue things. But just a terrific at-bat by him. I told you, he's going to make you earn it. And McLaurin did not earn it there. Justin Connell was able to earn a terrific single.
So now it's Marihildo, Aldrin, as well as the pitching coach for Aberdeen, Josh Conway, out on the mound to talk things over with McLarty here with 2 away. Connell on first. So after he had been cruising, gives up the long home run to Mendoza, and then he just can't get Connell. Connell just kept grinding there with 2 strikes, and then gets a hard hit single to the left. So a couple of really nice at-bats here by the Blue Rocks against McLarty, who had stifled them up until Drew Mendoza's home run. So maybe starting to kind of find a rhythm here. Marihildo looking to continue the trend here with 2 away. Marihildo did single his first time. He laced one into right field. That got down right in front of Lamar Sparks. Back in the second. This time his first pitch swinging, and he hits one high. Shallow left, behind third. It's it's not Carmona, it's Henderson, who is over towards the line to make the catch for out number 3. So the side is finally retired, but not before the Blue Rocks get a run on the board. They strike first off a solo home run to right field by Drew Mendoza, his 5th on the year. 1 run on 1 hit and 1 left. We've played 4 here from Frawley Stadium. Evan Lee coming out for inning number 5. Now he's got a 1-run cushion to work with. We'll be back after these messages. You're listening to Wilmington Blue Rocks Baseball here on Rowan Radio, 89.7 WGLS FM, as well as online at rowanradio.com. We've got NJAC women's soccer action, and we've got a good one today for you folks. The visiting Pioneers of William Patterson, who come in at 4-5, taking on the host Rowan Profs, who sit at 8-3, 3-1 in NJAC play. I'm Aaron Hook, everyone, and again, today should be a good one here for the Profs. Nice Saturday afternoon kickoff for them, and you look at their recent form, 3-2 in their last 5 games. They've gone win, loss, win, loss. They dropped their previous game to York 2-1 back on Wednesday, and it was one where they just got beat early, and I say early even though both York goals came in the second half. 56th minute by Aaron Snyder, 73rd minute by Caitlin Finlay gave York a 2-0 lead. Profs unable to respond. They did get a 75th minute goal by Cassidy McGarland, but fell 2-1. So the Profs, after starting 5-1, have come back down to earth a little bit here, and not including this game here this afternoon, which is set to kick off in just a few moments. Profs only have 5 games left until the NJAC playoffs get underway with the NJAC tournament, so this is truly the home stretch here for Rowan. Going to have to get going here in these last few games. Of the last 5 games, Rowan has 3 of them here in Glassboro, and one, of course, here today. And we are underway as William Patterson sent it off, and now the Profs control coming the other way, working right to left. And quickly out of play. It'll be a quick throw in here for Rowan. They get it up along the far side. Jillian Jankowski chasing it for the Profs, and again out of play quickly. So we'll give you the starting lineups for either side. For William Patterson, Erica Hickey is in goal. Lindsay Ash, Elisa Zuda, Haley Nelson, Haley Jujewski, Julia Fiorito, Megan Pons, Isabel Fernandez, Daniela Labou, Kayla Miller, and Samantha Persad round out the starting 11 for the Pioneers. This is a corner kick for Rowan. Ball's being fought for in front of the net. Winds up on a foot, and it'll be rejected back out. This is headed towards the goal. It's going to be sent away by the Pioneer defense, so they're able to clear for the moment. Battling for it now on the near side here. It's Ariana Derlin with that left foot. Sends it in, and going to be knocked around a couple of times. Pantalone got a foot on it for a second, but all said and done, it'll be ricocheted over to the right side and taken up by Hickey here, who will send it away. So the Profs being aggressive early on, and then come in 8-3, 3-1 in the end, Jack. And we'll give you the numbers throughout the broadcast, but William Patterson, a team that, at 4-5, they've been competitive in a lot of games this year, but you look at the totals for the NJAC, and they're near the bottom in goals scored, saves as well. So a Pioneer team that's maybe playing a bit over their heads right now, but certainly a team that at the same time can give the Profs a little bit of a run for their money. On the far side, that's Kelsey Stangel fighting for it. It'll go out of play. Starting lineup for the Profs, Bristol Pizzuto is in goal, Aiden Sheehan, Bethany Sansone up front, Jess Loden, Ariana Derlin, Jillian Jankowski, Kelsey Stangel, Natalie Pantalone, and then Priest, Amaze, and Macker Lane round out the starting 11 for the Profs. With throwing here for Rowan, they get it to DeMaze, plays it across now. Rowan keeping it here in the back end now with a load-in. And this Rowan back line should have a day where, a team in William Patterson who second to last in the NJAC and goals scored, should be a day where they can kind of be more offensively focused here. And the Profs coming off a game where they only scored 1 goal against York. Certainly a emphasis for Scott Leacoat's team over the 3-minute mark into this one here. This is again played up along the far side. They're looking for Jankowski over there, but headed away out of play by William Patterson. It'll be a quick throw in here for the Profs. That's Ponce able to get her left foot on and then temporarily clear it out for William Patterson, but the Profs have it right back now. Ponce again able to get it out, and now here comes William Patterson working across midfield, left to right. Opportunity here. This is a chance streaking up the field. They've got Persaud running pretty much in the open, tripped up, and no call. Interesting call there. It looked like that was Fiorito trying to go coast to coast herself, and she was tripped up in the box, but again, the contact does not get a call. This is Jankowski working with it now for Rowan, so William Patterson with an early chance, but the Rowan defense able to snuff it out, and yeah, that is Fiorito, who's now limping, kind of favoring that left leg a little bit, so perhaps an early substitution, and now on Rowan's side of the field, play will stop. 40-15 to go in the first half, so approaching the 5-minute mark so far here underway. Glassboro, New Jersey, Rowan University, Rowan and William Patterson doing battle here on again, it was a gloomy looking Saturday afternoon, and some light rain was coming in about 20, 30 minutes ago, but it's seemingly starting to clear up as off the free kick, it'll roll right into the hands of Bristol Pizzuto, who rolls it back out now for Rowan, who comes the other way. This is Pantalone, played to the far side in front of the William Patterson bench now for Jankowski, and this is taken away, still played in for Rowan. Deflection will have it come to the left foot again of Ponce. Now this is Ash with it for the Pioneers. Some contact there, and that will draw a whistle.
Patriots take over from their own 36. Casasanta again. A couple of nice moves in the middle of that defense, and he will shake his way to about the 45. Casasanta dies, we talked about it just a second ago, doing a good job through the air. Can't ignore the job he's doing on the ground as well. He's doing a really good job moving the ball on the ground as he's done all season, but, they're going to need him to do that throughout the rest of the game tonight. A pickup of 8 there for Casasanta.
These Raiders saw these two amazing passing plays, and they forgot that Casasanta can run with his legs as well.
Second down and 2. In motion again is Groshon. Shifting in the backfield as well as Brutowski. Handoff to him. He's going to try and push forward. The pile is going to be about neutral. He might have lost a yard there. We'll see where they mark him. Brutowski going to pick up no gain. They'll mark it neutral. Third down and 2 coming up for the Patriots. Looking for their third conversion on this drive.
From the Patriots 46-yard line. 3rd and 1.
Patriots on their own 46.
They cannot end this drive right here. They're too hot right now. They really need to score.
Imperato and Pontalillo out wide. Imperato in the slot. Pontalillo the wide man. Handoff. Brutowski. He's going to break the marker. And he's got more. Running to the outside. And he's brought down past the 50-yard line. Brutowski breaks midfield. And the Patriots guys are starting to get something rolling. Another first down conversion.
Patriots first down.
Ramapo thinking immediately this could be a blowout. Wayne Hills is I'd say a better team when it comes to the latter halves of the game. They've realized their mistakes. They've bounced right back up, and they're recovering. The beginning game jitters is past them. They know who they're facing off against now.
Casasanta. Looked like he was trying to hand it off to Brutowski. Ended up taking it himself, but once again, it's a solid gain. Give him about 3. So we've surpassed the 2-minute mark here in the second quarter. 2 minutes are surpassed, and Wayne Hills in the midst of a drive, guys. Everything seems to be clicking a little bit here. And once again, as this drive continues, we're going to say it, they can't let up here. Casasanta fakes the handoff, drops back. Initially looks deep. He's under a little bit of pressure. He gets away. Now he's just going to take it himself. Makes a nice move to get away from a defender. And gets out of bounds. It looked like Pontalillo might have gotten into a little bit of a tussle with a Ramapo defender. And about 30 yards away is a penalty, and guys, it's wholly against the Patriots.
Just when you thought they had it all, another penalty.
Charter defense. David Comitel looks like on the tackle. He's tied for the Penn Charter lead with 52 tackles coming into play today.
Yeah, another nice defensive play. Linebacker group again getting there to get Allen before he can really get anything going, get percolating. Now 3rd down and short here for this offense. Big play for either side. Momentum on the line here. If you're Machado and you can find a way to convert here on 3rd and short, keep the drive going, set up 1st and goal, would really be a momentum killer.
They've been 5 of 6 on 3rd down. They go to Spivey, who throws it, and he's picked off. Too cute there, and Penn Charter comes up with a big 3rd down stop on defense, and they really needed that.
And it's Colin Shum who picks him off, playing the safety spot. Yeah, they tried to, would you call this Philly? I guess. They run Spivey, coming him in motion, they flip it back to him, and yeah, like you said, Jeff, just a little bit too cute there. You have Allen in the backfield. You could just run it right up the middle with him or worst case scenario, you take your three. Tried to get a little too fancy there, and Shum read it all the way, stepped in front of that pass, picked it off, and just like that, here comes McCain now with a chance to lead a long drive here for Penn Charter late in this third quarter.
Colin Shum, their safety, with his first interception of the season. So here comes Penn Charter. McCain trying to make something happen on 1st and 10 from the 8. His opening pass is incomplete. And Colin Shum, we didn't know whether or not he would start this game at quarterback, and he is certainly making a difference on defense.
Yeah, he's made play after play, getting the pit there. Now you turn it over to McCain on 1st down. Was looking here to the near side, was trying to get it to Isaiah Grimes, but timing with him and his receivers hasn't been great. That's kind of another reason why they've kept it on the ground, but he's been so good that you can't really fault them.
2nd and 10 from the 8. They go back to the ground game, and Penn Charter gets nothing there. Final 2 minutes of the third quarter. Ichibui on the handoff. And their top kick returner, their top rusher, they're going to need him to come up big here on 3rd and 11 from the 8. Just under 2 minutes to go in the third quarter.
Yeah, so now this is dangerous here for Penn Charter. I mean, you're backed up here. You're on your own 7. Might just want to try and get a couple extra yards.
Clean, crisp, and not be cute. That is a key here. 3rd and 11 from the 7. McCain out of the shotgun. He has 3 receivers, trips to his left. He's looking, plenty of time, goes in the air, goes deep, and it is overthrown, and we have a flag on the play. Pass interference on the defense there, clearly, as he was brought down about a day before that pass came anywhere near him.
Yeah, I was about to say clear as day. I mean, getting ripped to the ground. I mean, that is a horrible penalty if you're GA. It's a high, kind of long throw. McCain left it up in the air for a long time. A lot of play to make the play on it if you're on defense. Instead, you go for the receiver instead of the ball, and all of a sudden, now instead of potentially getting the ball back here, now you have to stay on the field. New set of downs here for Penn Charter.
Penn Charter, they'll take it. 15-yard penalty. They are up at the 21, 1st and 10 for McCain and this offense. Spivey on Aiden. Tight coverage there, and they go back to the ground game. And that is McCain, the quarterback keeper, picking up 5 yards on the run. He has 4 rushing touchdowns, 3 coming in the first half.
Nice job there. McCain bouncing it out to the outside. 2 hands for safety. On the ball as he went down. He's doing a good job protecting the ball. And there you go. After getting a new set of downs, pretty much getting it handed to you. It's a nice job establishing the run there on 1st down with the quarterback keeper.
Final minute of the third. Quakers looking to go back in front. They're down 1, 26-25. 2nd and 2 from the 30. Trying to give this home crowd something to cheer about. Ichibui gets the 1st down and more. He is so elusive, hard to tackle. And you look at both of these backs from both squads, between Allen, between Ichibui, these guys are really tough to tackle. And look, when you watch this game, it looks like they're going high with these tackles, but the key has been for these running backs, the fact that they keep their legs moving, and that is running back 101. That's how you teach how to run.
100%. Call them downhill runners, Jeff. Both Allen and Ichibui, they're so quick, they're so elusive, like you said, and they're just so hard to tell. You need 3 or 4 defenders to wrap their legs up if you want to bring them down. 2 big guys as well, strong guys. So, that's why it's been so effective. And then, of course, Seamus McCain has done an excellent job. He's a big guy, too, at QB, running the ball. And as the clock hits 000 here, we're into the 4th, 1-point game here in Philly.
Back here with 3rd set action. Rowan up 2-0, 1 set away from closing this contest out. And what do they need to do to stay hot here, Aaron?
Well, I mean, look, we've seen it so far. Their stars have been terrific again tonight with Newsom and Ogden. Brooke Adams with 24 assists already. So, look, I mean, those 3 have been great, and they've gotten a lot of contributions from
and yeah, what I'll call unsung heroes. I mean, you look at Courtney Roden. I mean, it has to be the biggest surprise. She's been electric up top, and she fades it there, and Robinson again on the board first here in the third set, Dylan. But I mean, her and Cassidy Abdallah, who has been a pretty steady contributor offensively for this Rowan team, but tonight she's really stepped up, leading the team in kills here as we enter this third set with 8. So I think it's got to be an entire group effort. I know it's kind of cliche, but look, I mean, I think as a team so far they've been terrific. And I think one more thing, I think, at times during these sets, they kind of, get into a little bit of a lull, a little bit of a run, and Rutgers Newark has been able to go on a couple of runs. I think if they can eliminate that, this should be a pretty easy 9 straight win for the Profs.
And it was Alexa Blue in on that kill, her first of the evening, coming in for the first time this evening. A sophomore out of Columbus, New Jersey. Comes in, immediately makes an impact. Profs lead at 3-0 here in set number 3. Adams with the service error. So now 3-1. Adams will set for Ogden. Ogden not able to push it through. And that attack off target from Starling.
And Dylan, I think for this Profs team, I think obviously, they've won 8 in a row, so the mojo is flowing, morale is high, and I think that's played a factor as well. I mean, you see the bench, into every play, every rally, every set. And I think the atmosphere in the building tonight is fantastic. Obviously honoring cancer awareness and the entire month of October here with the Profs Go Pink, and of course Coach Jesperson and her battle. I think the atmosphere and just the electricity and just the reason why everyone's here tonight just makes this game a little bit more special. So I think Rowan has certainly come out with the type of energy they needed to in an environment like this.
Absolutely. And now another kill there from Blue, her second of the set, her second of the match. And like you said, this place is electric.
Yeah.
The Rowan bench is electric. Everyone showing out here for Profs Go Pink. And Profs showing out on the court. As Rivera will look to kill, but Ogden, nice play to keep it alive. The Profs not able to return it. So Rivera will be back to serve. Adams will set. Blue will go for the kill and get it. Alexa Blue, what a performance from her.
Yeah, coming in, only had 1 kill on the year, Dylan, and yeah, you mentioned she has made an impact here in this third set. Blue with 3 kills already.
And now Sperano with the first hit to Adams, to Newsom, not able to finish it off. Richardson will pop it up now. And Adams will get the first hit on it. Now back to Newsom from Sperano. And a back and forth rally as the Profs cap it off with the point. So the battle really between Starling and Newsom there. But then Cassidy Abdallah comes in to finish it off and extend her kill lead on the evening to 9. Ogden returns. Newsom plays it softly. Nice job from Rutgers to keep it alive. Newsom will have to softly play it over again, that time not by choice. And it won't be returned from Rutgers Newark.
Yeah, this is eerily similar to the first set, Dylan. I think, Rowan kind of smells blood in the water here, up 2-0, and trying to take this one in straight sets. They've, Rutgers Newark has been good through the first 2 sets, but like the first, off to a bit of a slow start here. They find themselves down early, and Again, Rowan closing in on their 9th straight win here if they can keep this up. So Rutgers Newark, this has got to be the one last hurrah here. They got to try and put a rally together. And Premier from on, though, and they've only led once this entire match early on in that second set. They led, I believe, 4-2 at one point, and then Rowan went on a bit of a run. So Rutgers Newark has kind of been playing from behind all night long. This has got to be the time where they really try and put something in the end and perhaps even the score and then go from there, or even if they can take the lead at some point.
Thanks, Sam. As you mentioned, here on a beautiful sunny day in East Rutherford at MetLife Stadium for NEC Social Media Day 2019. Now, it's an interesting dynamic going on in the NEC. Two new teams joining the conference, LIU and Merrimack. And speaking of LIU, they had a very successful year last year in the Northeast 10 Conference, which is the Division II conference. They went 10-1 overall, won the conference championship, and now they're moving into the NEC. And I talked to LIU running back Jonathan DeBeek about what the expectations are for him and his team coming into a new and more competitive conference. And he said every day they're just looking to get better. They know it's a competitive conference that they're joining, and they know that they're going to have to play up to the rest of the conference's standards. But he's not really worried about it because he's been around his guys and his teammates for a long time, and they believe in each other. Now, the top team in the conference is Duquesne. They won the they're the number 7 ranked team in the FCS this year, and it really just represents this conference so well, knowing that they're a top 10 team. That's all from MetLife Stadium. Sam, I'll send it back to you in the studio. Welcome to the Delaware Bluecoats pregame show. I'm Aaron Hook, along with Brandon Herson. Today, the 7-2 Delaware Bluecoats look to end their 2-game losing streak as they take on the 4-5 Lakeland Magic from the NBA G League bubble in Orlando. And Brandon, the Bluecoats coming off their worst loss of the season, a 138-107 thumping at the hands of the Raptors 905. And the Raptors really had control of that one all throughout. They led by 13 after a quarter, led by 20 at halftime, and they really never looked back. And all around, it was really just you can just say it was really the worst game of the season so far for the Bluecoats, who have had a terrific season, and they just didn't have it on Wednesday night.
Yeah, it really is the worst game of their season so far, and hopefully it stays that way too. The Bluecoats don't want to repeat that performance again, especially today going against the Lakeland Magic. But yeah, it was really it wasn't a good performance from the start. They were really just out-hustled, out-rebounded. They were severely out-rebounded. The Bluecoats were out-rebounded 54-35. That's something we're just not used to seeing from this Bluecoats team. So it was really odd to see them kind of beat at their own game. And really, their defense just didn't show up. They allowed the 905 to shoot 54% from the field and 41% from downtown. So they weren't rebounding and they weren't playing defense. And when your shot is not hitting like they're used to, it's just not a good recipe for success.
Well, you mentioned the excellent shooting by the Raptors 905, and the balanced scoring was something also. That the Raptors did really, really well. They had a ton of guys in double digits. And Alize Johnson just had a monster game. He had 22 points, 20 rebounds, and 7 assists. So, when you're shooting the ball really well and you have a guy go off like that, it's certainly going to translate to a lot of wins, and it did for the Raptors 905 on Wednesday night. Rajon Tucker for Delaware led the way with 26 points, and Paul Reed had 17 points to go on with 9 rebounds. And on the other side, Brandon, the Bluecoats' opponent today, the Lakeland Magic, coming off a 101-90 loss on Wednesday night as well. They took on the Canton Charge, who moved to 4-5 with the win. Mamadi Diakite led the way for the Magic with 21 off the bench. He's going to be a guy that we're going to talk about later on here in the pregame. And, Brandon, this is a really good opportunity for the Bluecoats to get back in the win column because they're taking on a Magic team that, like I just said, are coming off a loss. They've lost 2 in a row, 4 of their last 5. So this is a really good chance for the Bluecoats to kind of, take advantage of a struggling team and get back in the win column.
Yeah, you mentioned that the Lakeland have lost 2 in a row. The Bluecoats have also lost 2 in a row, so somebody's streak's got to end today. One of these teams has to come out victorious, and I think the Bluecoats have a good chance. They really came into a good team last, Wednesday with the 905 Raptors. But like you said, this isn't that same team with the Lakeland. The Lakeland are also missing some key players on the roster that are definitely going to impact the game. And really, the Lakeland are just not as dynamic as a scoring team. Haven't shot the ball very well on the season, only shooting 30% from the three-point range, so really just not that great offensive team. So I think if the Bluecoats can just get into a rhythm early, they should have a lot better success today.
Yeah, you talked about missing players, for the Lakeland Magic. You looked at Andrew Rousey, their leading scorer at 17.5 a night, and he shoots near 40% from the 3-point line, and we're not sure if his status for today. He didn't play on Wednesday night, and he's a key guy. And then you looked at Chasen Randall, who has only spent 2 games with the Lakeland Magic in the G League. He's a two-way guy for the Magic. He's up with them right now. Averages 20 points a game, Brandon. So like we saw with the Bayhawks on Monday, and they're missing 2 of their key guys are the Lakeland Magic. So that just really keys in and factors in as well, to how the Blue Coats should play this one. Look, you got a struggling team coming in here without 2 of their top guys. This is a really good opportunity for them to go out and get back in the win column, like we've said multiple times. And the Blue Coats find themselves in a tie for second place entering today, Brandon, with the OKC Blue. They are both at 7-2. Both teams played today. The Blue are going to take on the Austin Spurs later today, who come in at 7-3. So that's a big time test for them. But look, if the Blue Coats can win today, they're going to move back into a tie for first place with the Erie Bayhawks, who they lost to on Monday. The Bayhawks at 8-2. So, this is a really big game when you look at it, on all sides for the Blue Coats, especially now factoring in that they have a chance to get back, into a tie for first place.
Yeah, I think this game will just really swing the momentum either way going towards the rest of the season for the Blue Coats. If they win here today, they end that losing streak, they get back in the W column, they're right in there for first place. But if they lose today and pick up that third loss, they fall back more into the standings. And not only are you picking up a third loss, but you're picking up a third loss to the Lakeland Magic, who, like we've been saying, haven't been having a great season so far. So if you fall to a team like this today, that's really going to kill the momentum for the Blue Coats and really just maybe have them rethink about some things, and especially if it's a bad loss. But hopefully the Blue Coats can just get this one going and just try to pick up the W here today.
Yeah, and this is really the first time the Blue Coats have faced any adversity all season long, Brandon. Until Monday they were undefeated. They came into that one 7-0, and a tough loss against Erie, one that they thought they should have won, and we thought they should have won as well. They were up at a lot of points in that game, had a 14-point halftime lead, and let that slip away, and then they come out kind of flat on Wednesday, and the Raptors 9-5 just kind of run them over. So yeah, like we've talked about all so far in this pregame, Brandon, a huge one here today for the Delaware Blue Coats. We're going to take a short break, but don't go anywhere as you're listening to the Delaware Blue Coats pregame show on Rowan Radio 89.7 WGLS FM and online at rowanradio.com. Welcome back to the Delaware Blue Coats pregame show. Aaron Hook along with Brandon Herson with you here as the Blue Coats and Magic get set to tip off from the G League bubble in Orlando in just about 15 minutes. We'll take a look around the NBA G League, look at some scores going on right now. Only one game going on right now, and then we've got a bunch of games coming up later in the day. The Fort Wayne Mad Ants have a 3-point lead, 26-23, with 3:19 to go in the first over the Aqua Caliente Clippers. The Blue Coats and Magic, the game you're going to hear right here on Rowan Radio 89.7 WGLS FM and on rowanradio.com, getting set to tip off in about 15 minutes at 11:30 a.m. Blue Coats come in at 7-2, Magic at 4-5. At 3 o'clock p.m., the Stars, who come in at 2-8, and the G League Ignite team, who are 6-3, will tip off. That game is going to be on television on ESPN2, so some pretty good TV coverage there. The Blues at the Blue at 7-2, a team we talked about, Brandon, who are currently in a tie for second place with the Blue Coats for second place in the NBA G League. Will take on the 7-3 Austin Spurs at 3:30 p.m. At 7 p.m., the 4-6 Vipers and the 4-5 Canton Charge, who beat the Lakeland Magic, who the Blue Coats have here today, will tip off at 7 o'clock. And the final game of the night will be between the Raptors 905 and the Greensboro Swarm. Raptors 905 coming in at 6-3 off the win against the Blue Coats on Wednesday, and the Swarm coming in at 4-5. That game will tip off at 7:30 p.m. So, Brandon, when you look at both sides here, we looked at some key guys on either side. I'll go to you first, and we'll start with the Lakeland Magic, who are trying to turn their season around. They're 4-5 right now, so they're definitely not out of the playoff hunt. They're fighting for one of those last playoff spots. The top 8 teams in the G League make the playoffs. So here's a team that has struggled over their recent stretch, dropping 4 out of their last 5, but look, for you, who's a key guy, today that can kind of help them out and have a big game trying to beat a good Blue Coats team and trying to get their season turned around.
We mentioned how they're missing 2 key players for this Lakeland Magic team, so I'm expecting Tajir McCall to step up in this one. His last time out in the loss of the Canton Charge, he dropped 16 points, 11 rebounds. He's a 6'4" guard. He can really score both ways. And he's also a G League veteran. He started 34 games for the College Park Slayhawks last game. He averaged 12 points in that season. So he's a guy with G League experience, someone who can score the basketball, and also someone who can just fill the stat sheet. As I mentioned, he dropped a double-double last game. So I'm expecting him to step up and kind of take on some of that scoring load today.
Yeah, McCall, really good efficiency shooting-wise as well, shooting nearly 48% from downtown. And for me, Brandon, it's going to be the big man coming off the bench, Mamadi Diakite, for the Lakeland Magic, averaging 17.2 points a game and 9.8 rebounds. And you figured with those numbers, he'd be a starter and he'd be playing, close to 35 minutes a night. Well, hasn't started the game all year. All of his production has come off the bench in 9 games played. Hasn't started a single one. We'll see if he gets the start here today. Averages 26 minutes per game, but he's a guy who is really efficient, shoots 56% from the field, 44% from deep. Obviously, we talked about averaging near a double-double off the bench with 17 and almost 10 rebounds a game. So, Diakite is a guy who I think when he checks in the game is going to provide a lot of offensive versatility for the Magic, and also defensively, he's going to be the guy who probably checks Paul Reed a lot of the time through, when he's in the ball game. So he's going to be a real factor here today for Lakeland. And Brandon, we looked at the Blue Coats on a 2-game losing streak. Need some guys to kind of step up and help turn it around. Who's one guy you're looking at for Delaware?
Definitely, the star of this team, got to look at Paul Reed. The Blue Coats have lost the past 2 games, and in the last 2 games, those have been the only 2 games for Paul Reed where he hasn't dropped a double-double. So when he's dropping a double-double and he's dominating for the Blue Coats, that will lead to victories for the Blue Coats. He also had a game-high 3 steals last time out, so he gets it done on the defensive end as well as offensively. So he only scored 17 points out last time. We're kind of used to seeing him score more than 20 points. So I want to see him get past that 20-point mark and really just have a hold on this game, especially in the paint, scoring down low. I know he likes to step out and shoot the 3-ball, and he can do it very well, but I want to see him dominate the paint and really take control over the game.
Yeah, when Paul Reed gets a double-double, Brandon, the Blue Coats win 7 double-doubles for B-Ball Paul, 7 wins for the Blue Coats. So, if he can get into, the double-digit categories in both rebounds and points, certainly a recipe for success for Delaware. And then you got to look at Rajon Tucker, for me, in 34 minutes on Wednesday night, 9 of 16 shooting, 2 of 4 from downtown. It was good to see him get going from behind the arc at 26 points to go on with 6 rebounds and 5 assists. And, Tucker, I feel like he's just a guy who kind of does everything for this team, Brandon. He provides energy both on and off the court. He's a guy that goes to the rim hard. He's a playmaker. And, when he gets shooting from outside, he is dangerous. He's a guy who averages close to 20 points a night. And, he's a guy who is really versatile for this Blue Coats team. And, obviously the energy and just the attitude he brings is going to be huge, especially now when you look at the Blue Coats on a 2-game losing streak. I mean, I'm sure right this second he's out there, with the guys in shoot-around telling them, hey, this is where we got to get it turned around. I mean, this is the only adversity we faced all season long. And, he's probably pumping up the guys out there and saying, hey, we're better than this. So I really expect Rajon Tucker to have a big night here in this one, Brandon. And then, looking at an interesting storyline, with Jordan Bone, the Blue Coats acquired him from the Lakeland Magic, just a few weeks ago on February 6th. So Bone, this is maybe a little bit of a revenge game here for him. He was traded to the Blue Coats. He's having a really good season so far, is Bone, averaging over 13 points a game on really good shooting, 37.5% from behind the arc. So Jordan Bone, maybe a big game coming here for him today, Brandon.
Yeah, a revenge game just like you said. Had a good game last time out, 15 points, game high, 9 assists, 0 turnovers too. So not only is he feeding the ball well to his teammates, but he's also not creating any turnovers. So like you said, revenge game. He's got to have some extra juice coming into this one, trying to prove wrong to the Lakeland Magic on why they traded him, and now that he's in the better situation here with the Blue Coats.
Well, we're going to take a short break, but don't go anywhere, as when we'll come back, we'll talk with today's color analyst, Lloyd Wilson, and get his thoughts on the Magic and Blue Coats matchup coming up at 11:30. You're listening to the Delaware Blue Coats pregame show on Rowan Radio, 89.7 WGLS FM, and RowanRadio.com. Welcome back to the Delaware Blue Coats pregame show. Blue Coats getting set for tip-off at 11:30 as they take on the Lakeland Magic. Alongside Brandon Hurst, I'm Aaron Hook, and we'll now be joined by today's color analyst, Lloyd Wilson. Lloyd, how are you, my friend?
I am good. How are you guys doing this morning?
Well, we're doing good. Hoping for a Blue Coats win, coming off back-to-back losses, Lloyd, and the Blue Coats find themselves in a position that they really haven't been in all year long. Coming off back-to-back losses. Up until Monday, they hadn't lost all season long. So, Lloyd, in a shortened G League season where kind of bouncing back from stretches like this is so important. How do you think the Blue Coats need to get back in the W column today and just kind of reverse the trend right now?
To be honest, it just has to be defense. I know we talked about it a little bit, and especially at the broadcast, during the game. I mean, defense was just a huge thing. Even in the post-game conference with Connor Johnson, he spoke about one-on-one defense. That's something that just needs to be elevated from the moment the ball is up in the air. So I just need to see more commitment on the defensive end. Offense can come during your half-court offense, but also in transition. So that is going to come, but you can't win anything if you don't play any defense.
Hey, Lloyd, you just talked about the defense right there. Another part of defense is grabbing rebounds as well. Me and Aaron talked about how, the Blue Coats were out-rebounded severely, 54-35. They also allowed Elise Johnson to grab 20 rebounds himself. Do you think they have a game plan coming in here today, trying to secure the ball more and gather those rebounds and get out in transition?
They definitely have to. And one of the guys they have to keep out of the paint is Diakite. Diakite coming in off his last game, 21 and 11 in rebounds. So defense more is a pride thing. I mean, they have to take pride in that one-on-one commitment. They have to take pride in boxing out the defender. They have to take pride in just getting going up for the ball. So a lot of that is just in the internal person of whoever the Blue Coats are. I mean, in who they are individually, excuse me. So I just need to see them box out and do the simple things just to get on the board.
Yeah, what key for the Blue Coats also that we've highlighted all season long is bench scoring, and there wasn't really a ton of that on Wednesday night. Not a lot of bench production from Delaware. What do you think the bench unit has to do today to kind of get back into a rhythm? We've seen guys like Jordan Bone, like Jared Brownridge, and like Michael Frazier who started on Wednesday night, but off the bench he had 24 points just a couple of games ago. Lloyd, what do you think this bench unit really has to do to kind of get back into the rhythm of things, and just kind of provide that scoring punch that they have all season long?
To be honest, they have to take better shots. I mean, they did shoot 30% from the three-point range, but inside they shot less than 50%, 43%. So I just need to see them take better shot selections. Guys that like you guys harped on, Jared Brownridge and Jordan Bone, didn't really do that much. Jordan Bone did have 15 points and almost had a double-double in terms of assists, but he can't be the only one. It has to be a complete bench effort for them to get a W.
Now, Lloyd, I know this is only a 2-game losing streak for the Blue Coats, but it's still a losing streak. And, when teams are part of losing streaks, they look to their star players to step up. Me and Aaron talked about wanting to see Rajon Tucker step up as well as Paul Reed. What would you like to see out of those two guys today? And would you like to see them take control of the game today?
I would like to still see Paul Reed be more of a dominant paint player, down low. In terms of Rajon Tucker, I mean, he's more of just an energetic guy. When you watch him play, he brings enthusiasm. He brings energy to the basketball team. So he just needs to have that energy directed in the right places. In this case, rebounding, as we talked about, but also getting to the free throw line, but also just taking better shots from beyond the arc.
Thanks, Lloyd, and good luck with the call today. That'll wrap things up here on the Delaware Blue Coats pregame show. After the break, we'll send it to Jason Joseph and Lloyd Wilson, who will have the call for today's game between the Delaware Blue Coats and the Lakeland Magic from the bubble in Orlando. Enjoy the game, everybody.